Everyone loves to save money.
And we're here to help you play the best games at the lowest possible price. Hi, I'm Marky.
And I'm Freddy, and today we got great deals and a raffle and a giveaway, so stay tuned and let's get started. The first deal we have for this week is Trials of Mana for $20 at Best Buy and Amazon, and this price dropped from its regular price of $40.
Trials of Mana is actually a remaster of an old Super Nintendo game with a very long Japanese title that I'm not very good at pronouncing, so I'm just going to hold off and save your ears the trouble. But the fun part about it is that it's not a traditional turn-based RPG. It's actually more of an action RPG where you're stuck in a little arena and you have to perform light and heavy attacks and spells and stuff in order to defeat your enemies. But another gimmick that's also really fun about this title is that you get to pick your main character from the get-go and what companions will be joining them. So this game already offers a lot of replay value, meaning you get to experience different stories at different playthroughs. And you can also run into the other characters and it all winds up intertwined into a big narrative that overall is a lot of fun. The designs look really crazy and I actually really like the art style of it too. It was given a full treatment. Obviously, you'd have no idea this was a Super Nintendo game. It's actually a fully fledged 3D action RPG with a lot of heart, a strong narrative, and of course a fantastic soundtrack, as every RPG always excels at. Now, we all love a good RPG, but it's always pretty daunting when it gives you a lot of stuff to do and a lot of things to think about. So, I'm going to actually pass it over to Freddy here, who can give you a few tips on making sure you're as efficient as possible. Go for it.
Thank you, Marky, for the great intro. Well, I'm gonna start off by saying that to do quick damage in this game, your default attack combo should be light attack, then followed by heavy attack. Also practice how to dodge. This way you can get major XP points for not getting any hits. Also, keep an eye on the day and time in the bottom right of the map as it affects the battle. I was very surprised that this was something not explained clearly in the game. Certain spells, like fire spells, are stronger on Salamander Day. An obvious one too is that light spells are always stronger during the day, and so on and so forth. This can make a huge effect when you have a boss fight coming up. Now when it comes to the deal, Best Buy has a usual credit card 5% cashback, or points if you're gonna call it, but also Amazon has the same offer, and for that choice it's your own preference. But definitely getting a physical game over a digital game has the advantage of finishing the game. You'll be able to trade in that disc or sell it locally. We'll mention these deals later on in the video. The next game we have is shared at GameStop and Best Buy, and the game we chose is Kingdom Hearts all in one package for $20, dropping from its regular price of $60. Now I need to mention that this deal might end on the 26th, especially for Best Buy, but we don't know for sure, but this is based on our historical data.
Yes, the famous Kingdom Hearts series that has taken close to, it feels like maybe 20 years or so to fully wrap up, and you're able to get all of it in one convenient package. And this is including all of those side games that were coming out on the various Nintendo systems and other handhelds in between Kingdom Hearts 2 and 3. Now I'll say a lot of those side games are just cutscenes only, whereas you're just getting kind of the story stuff, because if anyone has talked about Kingdom Hearts before, long, convoluted storyline is a mainstay, and it's always in every conversation. But this is, of course, a lovely collection. Kingdom Hearts 1, 2, and 3, of course, but you also have a couple side games like Chain of Memories, Dream Drop Distance, and Birth by Sleep to enjoy. And they all interconnect with each other, so I'd recommend playing through them all, of course. But if you want to try the Kingdom Hearts 1, 2, and 3, it's always fun. And you get to see all the different Disney worlds, which any Disney fan is always a big fan of, and anybody who's had a Disney-themed childhood will most certainly enjoy. And it's an action RPG, meaning you can get to hack and slash, but you're going to be getting stronger, doing different abilities, starting to rub your ears the wrong way when you hear Donald say that there's more ingredients to be found, but I guarantee you his voice will just start being tuned out as it comes along. At least it was for me. And of course, Goofy's infamous yell that everybody knows. I'm not going to repeat it here. It's just, you know what it is. But it's a big Disney Square Enix mashup that's fun for everybody, and even though it's got a crazy storyline that has terms that really start to get muddled, it's an overall fun experience to enjoy, and you get to experience all of it at an extremely low price. And like other action RPGs, there's always some tips to get you going from the beginning or even near the end. So Freddy, be sure to let them know as best as you can.
Thank you, Marky. I'm glad you didn't spoil anything about this game, so that was a great description. Anyway, my first tip for you is that don't ignore the text in the beginning when it describes what does it do. Just don't skip it, because it will affect the skills and stats that you will earn as you level up throughout the entire game. Also, for beginners, I like to recommend the shield, since it lets you learn a lot of protective skills early on, but to be fair, there is no bad option. Just be sure to pay attention to what the benefit of each weapon is. Also, when you reach Kingdom Hearts 3 early on, you will learn about the technique flow motion, which will let you glide and jump swiftly during a fight. It's a recommend to always have some kind of flow motion technique going on, as you will be able to avoid a lot of enemy attacks and be able to counter attack swiftly. Now, GameStop has this deal the same price as Best Buy, and if you have the $5 monthly coupon, you can throw it in and get it for even better price of $15. And definitely, if you have a Best Buy credit card, also you can go ahead and use it, give you 5% back. Well, just to elaborate on the $5 monthly coupon from GameStop, this is something you can get from Pro membership. Pro membership at GameStop costs around $15, and in return you get $5 a month back to use on any purchase you want, whether games or toys or whatever. And this means that you get $60 over a year of coupons. And like a deal like this, it's really easy to throw the $5 and use it, and that's why we highly recommend it. On top of that, if you watch our previous video, we mentioned that you get 10% trade-in credit, and in that case we talked about Resident Evil, and we saw that with the trade-in bonus you will make more money in store credit than what you purchased it for. You basically play the game for free. If you haven't checked that video, make sure to check it. It's from last week. The next game we have this time is digital, which is on PlayStation Store, and the game we chose is Street Fighter V Champion Edition for $20, dropping from its regular price of $30 to $40.
Yes, Street Fighter V Champion Edition. For those of you that didn't touch the game since its launch, yes, it launched very bare-boned, we know this, but the game has seen so many improvements and big overhauls to not only just the characters being added, but the overall mechanics of the game. They're vastly different, allowing a more fluid and more strategic experience to enjoy. Now, this Champion Edition includes 4 seasons worth of characters, almost 20 characters long, and well over 100 costumes, half of them for Chun-Li. But it's not the only content that's for the game. There's actually a whole Season 5 that has come out. There's even a special premium pass for it. And while I would recommend that too, it's always great being able to get all of the stuff that Street Fighter V has been accumulating for the past 3 to 4 years in one package, because it's definitely a fighting game worth trying out. And hey, some of you who might be exploring the concept of pro fighting game player, where else to go but Street Fighter? You got a lot to learn here, a lot of characters to explore, a lot of combos to see, and a lot of game to play. Are fighting games my forte? No. I do like button mashing, and maybe Street Fighter can allow that for me, but in case you aren't into button mashing, and you want some little tips on maybe you can try to improve a little bit, well, we got Freddy over here who can maybe help me out with that. So, Freddy, whenever you're ready.
I got your back, Marky. Well, this might sound obvious, but sure to get used to blocking, both mid and low attacks. Learning the rhythm of how characters perform their attacks will give you a better understanding of what to anticipate. Blocking well means more opportunities to land your own combos. Another temptation to fight is jumping. There are a lot of uppercuts or anti-air character can do easily, knocking out of your jump and getting the advantage of that. We're not saying never jump, but like any fighter, as you learn the mechanics, you will be able to see which opportunities you can take advantage of. Well, this game is on PlayStation Store, and this means that you can take advantage of the Cash App 15% discount on any purchase you make on PlayStation Store. So definitely take advantage of that. We'll show a picture of it, how the coupon look. I'll have more details about it in the description below.
Of course, we've reached that point in the video where if you've been enjoying it so far, we would very much appreciate it if you could click the subscribe button and maybe the bell icon for notifications as well. And be sure to like it if you've been enjoying what you've been seeing so far. We want to make sure we keep you guys up to date, not only with the uploads we post for each of our systems, PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch, but we also want to keep you up to date through our YouTube stories and the Gaming Input Twitter of any flash deals or quick sales, so you can stay on top of it and save as much money as possible.
Some of the examples of the deals on flash sale we got were Cyberpunk for $10, and we got PlayStation Plus for $30, and many more. So make sure you subscribe, and that will also help our community to grow. We want to have gamers who like to play a lot of games but don't want to break the bank. Alright, enough talking, and let's get back to the deals. The next game we have is also digitally on PlayStation Store, and the game we chose is Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate for $50, dropping from its regular price of $70.
Yes, of course, the highly anticipated remake of the fan favorite Final Fantasy VII is here and at a discount. And for Intergrade, I want to make sure we throw the details out there really quick. If you already own a PS4 copy of Final Fantasy VII and you get a PS5, you do get the performance updates, the upgrade patch as it's called. But to experience the extra story stuff, that involves the intermission DLC, which is normally about $10 to $20. But getting the Intergrade here, if you've never played it before, is probably the best way to do it, because you get both the DLC and this, as well as, of course, all the benefits that the PS5 can give you. And Final Fantasy VII does change things up completely different. A part of me just wants to say it's a completely different game from Final Fantasy VII. It's got the same aesthetic, it's got that wonderful music, and it's got those very endearing characters. But the combat and story and some side stuff have taken a lot of changes. Won't say specifically what, but it's free to explore, while sticking to the main story of Final Fantasy VII. Not the entirety of it, I would say just about as much as the first disc, if not a little bit less than that. But it's more of an action game now. You can still switch party members, you can still use their special abilities to take care of different enemies, and of course you have access to materia, the summons, and with those new visuals, it looks amazing to play. Definitely a game that's lived up to its height and has caused a lot of discussion for fans. And it's definitely worth trying out too. If you haven't played Final Fantasy VII originally, it's still worth diving into, because it's overall a fantastic RPG. And wouldn't you know it, action RPGs are on the menu this week, and I want to make sure there's as many tips as possible, but they are very different. And I want to make sure Freddy here has the right stuff to make sure you are on your way as best as possible. So Freddy, how do we do our best in Final Fantasy VII?
To be honest, this was my first Final Fantasy VII I ever played in the entire series, and I was very confused at the beginning. So one tip is that learn early on how to switch between characters and learn what do they do and their attack, because it will be very helpful to go to a boss fight, which is going to be a huge one, and know which skills each character can do. Also, while it might be common in most action games, dodging in this game will not make you invisible temporarily. Instead, I would recommend getting used to guarding as much as possible. It may feel tempting to try to dodge out of an attack, but more often than not, you'll find yourself getting hit, so keep an eye out and guard. Also, I would like to mention that you'll be collecting a lot of materia in this game, but unless you know you can repurchase it from a nearby shop, don't sell any materia. A lot of them are rare, and it's always better to have extra than not to. And material, just to elaborate, they are like just upgrades you can attach to your clothes or to your sword to give it some extra upgrade or extra skills. The next game we have for this week is a great one and all-time low, is Ninja Gaiden Master Collection Deluxe on PlayStation Store for $37.49, dropping from its regular price of $50.
This is a collection of the Ninja Gaiden Sigma games in a nice little upscaled resolution and in their full bloody glory. These were hack and slash games that they had some ups and downs, to be sure, but one thing that always stuck well was their difficulty. Pretty tough games, but very interesting to explore too. It's got a mix of like the old game mechanics from Capcom hack and slashes with the modern ones. it's definitely a transitional one when it comes to the modern hack and slashes that we have now. But they're still fantastic completely. You really start to adapting to Ryu Hayabusa as a character, and from somebody who's been seeing things in like the Dead or Alive series, it's just nice seeing their own little stories. And while I personally have yet to play them, I always like to, take advantage of sales like these so that way I can make sure I get them under my belt. But I know with what I've been seeing from other people who've been playing them that these are fantastic hack and slashes, and they're definitely worth toughing through that difficulty. But hey, any difficulty can be lessened with a few tips. And of course, I throw it to my man Freddy over here. So, Ninja Gaiden away, Freddy.
Thank you, Marky. First thing, use smoke bombs as much as you can. I like them because you will get a few seconds where your enemies are unable to block or dodge your attacks. Also, it stops the one from aiming their projectiles on you. Another thing I'll need to tell you, and pay attention to this one. When you play the game and move the right analog stick, it will convert the view from third person to first person view. However, if you click on the right analog stick, you'll be able to have control over the camera in the third person view. This was not mentioned anywhere in the game, and my friend actually told me about it pretty late in the game, and that's why I want to tell you about this from the very beginning. Also, there are many high platforms in this game, but you can actually reach these high platforms if you jump right and do it with the right sequence of buttons that I'm gonna mention. First, jump, and when you're at the peak of that jump, press the slash button with the sword and then quickly throw some shurikens, then heavy attacks. It requires some practice, but trust me, this is a necessary thing you must learn and do to pass certain areas. Again, I'm shocked that this game does not have any instruction on how to do this. So again, jump, then slash button with the sword, then quickly throw the shurikens, or however you wanna call it, then do the heavy attack right after. It's requires some practice. Do it, it will help you.
Of course, we would love to remind our people who have been enjoying us since we've reached 100 subscribers. We're currently on our way to 200, and we want to be able to show our gratitude as we reach that milestone with a giveaway for a $10 PlayStation Store card. And of course, we're going to throw that link down in the description below, but we like to encourage people, in order to get as many entries as possible, show your support. We can follow on Twitter, you're free to check us out on YouTube, you're free to explore our Facebook group as well. Any kind of support, and those comments are always necessary too. We love that feedback, and we want to be able to show our gratitude, like I said, with a nice little gesture. So if you want to show your support and you want to be able to get more deals as soon as possible too, feel free to check it out.
Yes, as Marky said, the description will have more details on how to get more entries to increase your chances of winning. Also, we definitely realize people who are always watching our channel and commenting and, following on other social media. Also, we got a collaboration for a PlayStation 5 raffle. So if you're looking for a PlayStation 5 or you're tired of your PlayStation 4, this will be a great opportunity. I will have the link for it in the description below as well. I hope you guys enjoyed the video for this week.
Of course, we would love to pose that same question for you because we love that feedback. Do you like our current format? We're making a few changes every now and again to make sure we want to keep you guys as informed as possible, but do you want us to cover a lot of games with very little detail? Do you want us to cover one game a week? I'm pretty sure you're not looking for that. But any opinions, of course, we're more than happy to hear. So in those comments down below, feel free to shout them out.
Thank you guys for watching. And remember, if you own other consoles like Xbox or Switch, we also got separate playlists for those, so make sure you check it out.
See you soon.